What's good, people? Sam O'Reilly with a Fight Talk podcast in association with Round Date. Myself and Craig today, joined by Isaac Chamberlain. How are you, sir?
Yeah, I'm good, very good. I'm good, mate. Sorry.
No worries. I see you Friday night, obviously, down the Next Gen show. Yeah, but we've been meaning to catch up for a little while, so we thought, fuck it, we'll throw you on the pod and we'll just talk shit for half an hour.
Okay.
Yeah, did you enjoy the show? What did you think of it?
Yeah, it was a good show, just to show the talent of all the prospects coming up. You know, everyone was there. You know, it was good to take pictures with fans and kind of enjoy the boxing.
Is it nice for you to go down to the show, Isaac, at York Hall and not have the pressure of the final? You obviously would love to have fight on that card, but is it nice to take a seat back and just enjoy the fights and enjoy mixing with the fans a bit?
Yeah, it was good. It was refreshing, it was kind of refreshing knowing that, because most of every time Matchroom has a show in York Hall, I'm always fighting on it. So it was kind of different. It was kind of like, it was good. I kind of enjoyed it, enjoyed knowing what it's like. I could only imagine what the type of audience that was watching my fight with Camacho in York Hall, just to see it from a spectator's point of view. But it's kind of, but it was good, I really enjoyed it.
You know, your fight with Camacho, this is actually quite weird for me, because your fight with Camacho, I got a free ticket from Miguel's, and I'd done no writing, I hadn't done nothing with Fight Talk at all, I just came down with a free ticket, and that's when I started writing stuff myself after that fight. This is weird, we've come full circle now.
So what you're saying is Isaac Chamberlain is responsible for the shit you put out, is that?
My inspiration. But no, obviously that was a massive fight for you, and that kind of kicked off the next gen thing for them last year. Now
Yeah, it kind of did, yeah.
Yeah, who impressed you on Friday night? I mean, we're obviously going to get on to who didn't impress you, but who impressed you from the stable? Who can you see making a real impact?
Joshua Boatsi impressed me a lot, because obviously I've trained with him a lot, I've sparred with him a lot. He's a very good, he's showing composure. He's showing a lot of things in the ring that makes him look like he's going to be a very good seasoned professional when the experience comes. So I think he was the standout guy for me.
Yeah. What's the reason you weren't on the show, Isaac? You tweeted, I think about a week or two ago, that you should have been, or you wanted to have been fighting. What was the reason you weren't on the show?
I think they have something bigger planned for me. And obviously I was sparring out in Ukraine with Alexander Usyk. So, and it was supposed to be for 3 weeks, but it got cut to 2 weeks because I think they stopped the sparring early or something like that. But, yeah, I was supposed to be out there for 3 weeks and coming back on September the 4th, which would have been past the September 1st Next Gen show.
Mr. Lawrence Okolie, he's a guy that at the moment seems to have your name stuck in his mouth.
Trust me.
Now, I sat behind you during his fight, and I can't sit there and lie and say that I thought he was very good, etc. I thought he showed some weaknesses, and you didn't look too impressed with what you saw yourself, Isaac.
I kind of think, because obviously I know him, I know how he fights, and the way the crowd, the way the hype has been built around him, I know those type of people. When things don't go their way, and they have so much pressure on them, it's easy for them to crumble and be like, oh my gosh, I got to put on a performance all the time, oh my days, I got to look sensational. And they let everything outside of the ring dictate, everything. They kind of forget what got them to that position. They kind of forget, what it's really about. Just forget social media and talking and the glitz and the glamour. That's nothing. It's just part of it. How can I say it? I think all the hype and the JD stuff, I don't know if it's getting to his head, and all these people around him are saying, oh yeah, he's going to be the next best thing, whatever, but you got to stay grounded. And that, I think that fight kind of humbled him in a way, that he's not invincible, he's not going to knock everyone out in the first round.
Yeah. We got a few questions for you, Isaac, but one of them specifically touching on that subject was from Martin from the New Age Boxing podcast. He says, does it annoy you, Isaac, that if you had an Olympic medal, you would probably be more prominent in the matchroom stable, even though at the moment you probably have more legitimate wins than these guys? Does that wind you up? Does that get to you?
It kind of doesn't. That's a good question from Martin. It actually doesn't. Simply because I knew that I built whatever I have and the hype around myself, I built it on my own, so when I get to the top and, because I've done it the hard way, when I get to the top, I know what it's like, because I've always had opponents coming back, fighting back, coming to win. I've always had that. So I ain't ever had, them run out opponents that are just there to survive or there to just get knocked out. I've had even the tough journeymen that I've fought, I've learned a lesson from every single one. So I'm kind of happy with the way I've done it, because at least I can say, you know what, I done it my way. I done it myself, and I worked hard to get it. I never got given anything.
But does it? I mean, human nature would obviously dictate that you want to be treated fairly, right? And if you're putting the work in, you want to get the props for whatever work you're doing. So, I mean, I'm not trying to get you to dig anybody out, but does it wind you up when maybe you don't get no one's talking about you as much? When I say no one, I mean, Eddie's quick to jump in and talk about Okolie or these medalists or whatever else. You're the one that's putting the graft in just as much.
I just think it's easier to market. You just got to think of it as a business sense. It's not like they have a problem against me. No, it's just the Olympians, they're easier to market. To the casual boxing fans, and the casual boxing fans are the one that's going to fill out the arenas.
Yeah.
So, with me, it's more, hard graft, ticket sales, things like that. And getting by more. Do you know what I mean? So I'm doing it the old-fashioned way. So it's kind of, in a business sense, you just got to think of it like that. You can't really put any emotion into it. Like, oh yeah, why they not care for me, whatever. Because at the end of the day, if you keep winning, you can't be denied.
Yeah, true.
If you keep winning, you can't be denied, and they'll have to pay attention to you.
True. Yeah, it's a very mature way to look at it. I think a lot of people get carried away with that sort of stuff and maybe say things out of hand and stuff, but it's good that you're viewing it that way. Quick question from Paul Altai. Shout out to Paul Altai, he's a good boy. He says, do you want to smash that bottle of sauce against the wall?
Paul's a funny guy, He's a funny guy. I don't know. It's one of those where, it's funny because all of his boys. What's funny? After that fight, you can kind of see he's still taking digs at me and stuff. And obviously after the Sky Sports commentary, he was after. When you do like the post-fight interview when you're sitting on that thing on that ledge on Sky after the fight, he was like, I'm showing these cruiserweights that how to punch a bit, blah blah blah, trying to throw shade at me. And then after, in his IFL interview, he's saying, what did he say again? He said something like, I wouldn't be able to beat Blaze Mindu or something like that. And I'm living off his name, but why do you always have to need to mention me? And then after on Twitter and on Instagram the day after, he's saying, oh yeah, his brothers, all his brothers and stuff will come in on my Instagram page and arguing and saying that, oh yeah, he'll knock me out and stuff. I'm thinking to myself, listen, your boys can't fight for you. Don't dig a big hole here where you can't jump out of. You know what I mean? Like, don't dig it for your boy that you're supporting so much, or your friend. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Do you know what? There's two. It's hard, isn't it? Because you think you've got to build a fight, and it's inevitable. In my opinion, this fight happens at some stage. Who knows what honours it will be and how far down the line, but in my opinion, the fight will happen at some stage. Do you think there's building a fight and then there's disrespectful? Has he got to you? Has he?
I don't really care. It's one of those things. It's part of the game. It's part of the game. Like, as long as people tune in and as long as people are talking about it. Because I remember it's funny because how things change all the time. Like, after when what's his name blew out Russ Henshaw, which had like a day of notice. When Lawrence blew him away, they were doing polls, and everyone was like, "Oh yeah, Lawrence will be too much, whatever. No one's been past the first round, whatever." Now after this last fight, everyone's like, "Oh my days, Isaac Chamberlain, he's too good. He'll knock him out." So it keeps people talking. It keeps them. It's everyone's opinion. I can't really get pissed off that, oh yeah, you think he's gonna knock me out or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Everyone has their own opinion. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm just, you just ride the wave basically, and the more everyone gets into, like, the more everyone is talking about it and interested in that fight, the bigger it will be. So you just got to think of it like that, to be honest.
What's the situation with you guys? Because there was pictures that were leaked where it looked as though you guys were sitting around a table doing some gloves are off type thing. What was the scenario there?
It was they want to do like a future gloves are off thing, and I even said it in an interview in the I don't know when it's gonna come out, but I actually said it when we were sitting down. I was like, listen, why are we here? There is no fight date. Like, what's the point?
It's a bit weird, isn't it? It's a bit. I've never seen that before. It's a bit strange.
Yeah, they want to do it to like build a future fight or something.
That's mad.
I
never seen that.
I've seen a picture. I've seen a picture where you're both sitting around a table, and I thought, what's happening here?
Yeah. Everyone was like, "Oh, you fighting him next?" Blah blah blah.
That's crazy.
I was thinking to myself, why don't you just build? It's because part of the reason why I don't think I was on the September 1st show is because Lawrence hasn't had as much fights as I have, and they're trying to build him up. And I'm thinking I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. They're trying to use that gloves are off as a, oh yeah, let's build the fight. But I'm thinking in my head, why don't we just build it the proper way? We fight on the same shows.
Yeah.
Whoever looks better, whatever. Do you know what I mean? And people start talking about it like that. But obviously, he's had less fights than me, and he's still yet to step up. But I don't know. Maybe it's just a business to the game. I just got to do my part and everyone in my team will do theirs.
Definitely. You touched on it. Obviously, that's something we want to talk about. You've been over in Ukraine with...
Oh, yeah.
Mate, that's insane. Mr. Usyk, is he as good as he looks on telly? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
you've been in there and tasted his punches. Now, talk us through the experience, Isaac.
It was an amazing experience. Amazing. Like, we was in the middle of nowhere, basically. Like, it's like... we took one plane, and then... I thought we was only going to take one plane there, and then we had to take another plane, and then the plane took us to this forest, and then at the airport of the second plane, we had to take like a 2.5-hour drive, and I thought it would be like 20 minutes, but it was like 2.5 hours, and then we just ended up, while I was driving, there was no lampposts anywhere. I was thinking, bro, am I going to get kidnapped or something?
The Brixton boy,
like
where's my lamppost?
Me and my uncle. Like 2 a.m. me and my uncle, we were just driving for like 2.5 hours. Then we officially got to this wooden shack of some sort, like a wooden hotel with terrible Wi-Fi. And I was kind of like, yo, where the hell are we? And then obviously we got there on Sunday, just sparring straight away started on Monday. And obviously we came in, and then obviously he was eyeballing, wanted to see who I was, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, yeah, he's quite cool. He's quite cool. But when it's time for sparring, the music is off. You're not allowed no phones. There's a massive sign, like, no phones allowed. And there were so many champions there, European champions. Dimitri Kuchar was there.
Oh.
American champion Al Sands was there. Some other prospects with Sauerland and KT Promotions, 11-0, 7 KOs. All these different type of guys were there. And it was an amazing experience. I mean, we got there. I mean, when I started sparring, because I came there knowing that, listen, I got to really bring it to him because I want to see how I belong, like, with the best in the world, basically, see where my level is. So he was just playing with everyone else. He was just outclassing. But they really used me a lot because of my speed, and it was kind of unorthodox for him. So obviously, every time he was doing something, like he would do that Lomachenko thing when he would move to the left and dip his head with his hands low and dip to the left, and I would do the same thing as him. So I was just absolutely, everything that he was doing was registering in my brain. Like, okay, he does this way. Okay, I'm gonna try to do that as well. Think little things like that. Well, you know, I don't want to really go into it, you know, because obviously sparring is sparring, but we went to war. Like, it was serious, you know.
Nice. And it's his head coach is Lomachenko's dad, right?
No, it's not. It's his. I think it's his amateur. I forgot his name, but he's some sort of his amateur coach. Or he was in the Olympic.
Okay.
Like the Olympic coach for Ukraine.
Nice.
But yeah, the sparring was great, man. Like, serious. We did certain days he hurt me, certain days I hurt him. It was just mental. Like, it was to that point. Like, I used that as a fight. To the point, yeah, where later on down the week, it was kind of like he would play with the other guys and save his energy for when I get in the ring. And I'm thinking to myself, this guy, because you know when you can just feel someone trying to hurt you know. And the funny thing is, obviously we spar from Monday to Friday, and obviously rest on Saturday, Sunday. And on Monday, I would get the better. I was kind of like edging it, but on Friday he would always pick up, because obviously Friday, it's the end of the week. I'm tired from all the flipping wear and tear. So, but he would just be so on point on Friday, and I'm thinking, wow, like, hey man, this guy is the real deal, because he just pushes himself through like it's nothing. You know. He's
a very talented fighter, man.
Oh, very talented. He's talented, and the thing is, he's tough. He's tough as well. So the toughness goes with it. You know, serious fighter, serious. And because I saw him knock guys out in that gym. If he has you hurt, he's going for it. Like, he's not. There is no messing about. There is no, oh, you okay? No, bam. He sees you hurt, he's jumping on you. Like, crazy.
We had a couple of questions from people regarding the sparring with Usyk, and one of them was from Dan Frost. Shout out to Dan Frost. He's a good boy. He said the Usyk sparring. What do you think you gained overall? So when you left him, you were on your 2.5 hour car, 2-plane, fucking snowmobile journey back home. When you look back on the whole experience, what did you gain from it, do you think?
I kind of gained a lot, so much. Nearly my whole boxing has changed. Like the way you conduct yourself around champions, and the way you box with them, the way how he's coming out, the way he's setting the traps and he's setting the angles. Like, that's why, you know, always know there's a big difference between, you know, British level, European level, world level, and that the margin is like really big, because they just do things differently. You know, every little thing you work on it. You know what I mean? Like, you work on the distance as he's coming in, how to set the traps, create the angles. It's like they're playing chess. You know, you don't just go in, oh yeah, use the jab, double jab, right hand. You know, that's the thing. Like, with these other boxers, I'm not saying names, but certain other boxers, it's like I call them ABC boxers. You know what they're gonna do.
You can say names if you want. You can say names, Isaac. Don't worry about that.
double jab. They'll use like a double jab right hand or 1-2 left hook. But with these guys like Usyk, it's kind of like you don't know what they're gonna throw next, because he even told me himself, look, the element of attack is surprise. They're not supposed to see what you're trying to do or what you're going to do next. Do you know what I mean? Everything is kind of concealed. You know, and that's how sharp he is. Everything was so sharp. And when I put that into my sparring with him, and I started getting used to him and sparring with him more and getting used to his rhythm, it was kind of like, we obviously, you know, every boxer has their own rhythm. He had a way of utilizing his own rhythm to work with him instead of against him. So he would change it up when he sees that I'm getting used to it. So that means and then I started changing my rhythm up a bit. And then so we was feinting, and it was very smart, but obviously very hard work as well. So I kind of learned the kind of things I need to do to be like a real championship caliber fighter.
Yeah. Martin asked another great question. He said, do you think realistically, although it's only sparring, were those rounds with Usyk harder than any of your fights?
Harder than any of my fights, definitely. In terms of mentally as well, because mentally you have to be really switched on with him. Mentally you have to be so switched on, like, because the caliber of opponent that I'm sparring with obviously he's the best that I've sparred with, basically, better than Joshua, Wilder, all of them, Dylan and all of them, better than all of them. Like, and the way he goes about his business, like, it's serious. It's serious. You have to always keep switched on. Like, the way, like, if you're sparring like that every day, and then when it comes to Friday, that's why I think you get the belt, because it's not just my head, it's not just my body that's kind of aching, it's my head as well, because I have to always be switched on. So it's like you're trying to solve a maths equation while working out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's one of those things. He's very analytical. So I tried to be everything he was being as well. And then when I started catching him, it's funny, because when I started catching him with shots, his trainer would say something in Ukraine like, and then he'll say something like, and then
was that your
stuff
Ukrainian?
would just change up. Bro,
I watched
he would just change up.
I was going to say, like, when you talk about analytical and the element of surprise and stuff, I watched a video with him and Lomachenko, and when someone fights them with a high guard, I watched this thing where they look as though they're throwing a shot, but they just flick one of the guarding hands out of the way and then throw in a hook. And it's just.
Do you know what's funny? I done it to him and he started laughing.
But that's innovation, right? I've never seen that before, and I watched that video of those two, and instead of throwing a shot, they're just pulling a guy's hand out of the way and cracking him with a left hook, and it's that sort of stuff that keeps them a step ahead of the game. So it's invaluable learning for those guys.
Definitely.
Moving on, also on the kind of Usyk vibe, because obviously you're a cruiserweight, Isaac, and you're making your way up, but Cruiserweight World Boxing Super Series kicks off soon. You got 3 of the 4 World Championship titles on the line in that tournament. A lot of big names. Usyk's in there with the WBO. Gassiev's got the IBF. WBA is my Cuban friend Dorticos. Who do you fancy for that, and what do you think of the tournament as a whole?
Bro, Usyk beats everyone. Trust me, bro. Trust me. Like, he was the favourite even before that.
Big favourite.
I think he was the favourite before, but when I witnessed firsthand, like, what I'm doing, like, with him, like, nah, he's serious. Serious. Certain times he was sparring 15 rounds, 12 rounds, 8 rounds. Trust me, he's serious. Serious.
Who could you see running him close? Do you think anybody runs him close? Brady, any of these guys?
Who do you think? What's that? Sorry.
Who do you think would give him a close contest?
I kind of think. I mean, the biggest puncher's chance is the Crush. What's his name? The Hammer.
Yeah.
Hammer.
Dmitry Kudryashev.
Him. And, I think in terms of boxing, either the other Cuban, not Perez, the other one.
Yeah, Dorticos.
But I ain't seen much of him, but obviously the Cuban style and stuff. And Breedis, I think, because Breedis is very talented.
Yeah, he's a good boxer.
His skills, and he's very fit. He starts to throw combinations in the later rounds. But I don't think Breedis could beat Usyk. He's too smart.
I hope we get a chance to see that over here, man, because they still ain't confirmed the UK deal, have they?
I watched an interview with Callie.
I don't think it's going to happen,
I watched an interview with Callie Sutherland the other day, and he said they're going to announce it soon. The British broadcaster. The British broadcaster's going to be announced in the next week or two. They've already got one for Holland and Germany and all these places, but I think they've got a British one tied down. But he said he just can't confirm it yet. So I don't know where it's going to be, but hopefully for everybody, we can see that. What do you make of the tournament as a whole? Is it a better prospect than the Super Sex? Does it make more sense for fans?
I think it's great. It makes everyone fight everyone, and obviously you get a big cash prize at the end, and then you walk away with basically nearly all the belts. I mean, I think it's a great tournament to find out who is the best of the best. I wish I had a couple more fights, or if that was like 2 years down the road or something, then I could have entered. It would have been amazing. Yeah,
if it goes well, there's no reason they wouldn't do others. You know what I mean? Depending on how it's. Yeah. They've got good enough fighters in it, and obviously the super middleweights. We've got Jamie Cox, George Groves, Chris Eubank. So I think hopefully there'll be enough interest and it'll do well, and they'll be able to do it, every couple of years, maybe every 2 or 3 years.
That'll be great.
Let's move on, Isaac. Miguel's gym, your home, your hub where it's just thriving. Every time I see these videos of you boys, Chris Congo and Richard Riekpo, John Harden Jr., it's just buzzing in there. Always seemed like you're grafting, but having fun. You're like a big family in there, man. Definitely. Does it feel like sometimes you go in there and it don't feel like work? It's just like, I'm just going to see my mates. I love my job. What's the atmosphere like on a day-to-day basis in Miguel's?
It kind of changes, and it only changes when you got a fight coming up. When you got a fight coming up, all the jokes stop, to be honest. All the jokes stop and you're just kind of focused, like, listen, I got to get to... And when you're deep in camp and everything starts to hurt, you don't want to be at the gym, but you're at the gym, obviously, to just graft through. That's when it's not a joke anymore. But most of the time, sometimes, we always busting jokes and stuff, Like if someone will get dropped to the gym, you make fun of it and stuff. Like it's cold out there, man. They don't give and when we're sparring, everyone goes hard on each other. You know what I mean? And obviously, what happens in the gym stays in the gym. But it's a great atmosphere. It kind of motivates you to work hard as well. It kind of motivates you to work hard as well. But Miguel's gym is an amazing gym. I wouldn't change it for anything.
Definitely. Robert Martin is a guy, he sent in a couple of questions, but he's got to be the biggest advocate, supporter of Brixton and boxing.
He's a legend, mate.
He's a legend. Listen, I met him the other day in Balham, and all he could talk about was Brixton and boxing and blah, blah, blah. He's a great guy, man.
Yeah, great guy.
Top man. He supported the Fight Talk since we started up as well, so much love for him. His questions, one of them is about, he said you did a public workout not long ago, and he thought it was amazing, letting people, from the local area maybe come and see you train and stuff. Are you looking to do another one? When could that possibly be?
Another one, probably. Because obviously I like doing things for the community and stuff. I always like to help people in my community. So I might do one like bring like primary school class, or them kids that are being bad, bring them to the gym and show them that, with hard work and dedication, you can get anywhere. You don't have to be on the streets. That's mainly why I like doing things like that. I don't like, because obviously trust me, bro, I came from nothing. So if I can come from nothing with limited amateur experience, I only had about 7-8 amateur fights, all in total, and then turn pro and then create this thing all by myself. If I can do that, and come from nothing as well, then trust me, these kids can do something as well. It's all about how much hard work that you put in, and that's why I mostly do these public workouts and stuff, just to inspire them. But I'll probably, before my next fight, because obviously I think I'm fighting October the 13th on another Next Gen show in Yoko, so I'll probably do one before then, just to get a big buzz about the fight coming up and stuff.
Nice. You also, Robert also asked, and it's not really related to Miguel's or community stuff, but we can get back to that. But Robert said, would you now, if you were offered, and I know me and you spoke about this after John Harding's fight at the York Hall, would you now take the Arfan Iqbal fight if it was offered to you? And has Arfan been calling you out, or are you aware of any social media stuff back and forth between you both?
I saw some of that like a couple of months ago, and I was kind of like, listen, I ain't heard nothing. Like it's easy to just say, oh yeah, I sent the contract, or I sent something on all over social media when nothing's been sent, because nothing's gotten back to my manager, nothing's gotten back to my uncle, and they deal with all of that. Like I'm not like, that's the mistake that I made when I fought Wadi. Yeah. Because I was like, I'll fight him now, but we never decided the purse or whatever. So if I say, oh no, hold on, I don't like this money, whatever, or my uncle goes, oh, I don't like this money, they'll think I'm running away. Do you know what I mean? But because that's why I don't react to anything about fighting. I just say, speak to my manager, we can speak about it, and then when the fight happens and everything's agreed, we fight. This like all of this other stuff is, I don't know if it's bravado or they're trying to, how can I say it? if they're calling me out and I reply, all my followers and the people that watch boxing, they're gonna be like, oh right, who's this guy that Isaac's replying to? Because I normally never reply. You know what I mean? The only person I'll probably reply to is Loris, because that's a massive money fight in the future. You just got to think of it like that. Anyone else, really, does it really make sense? Do you know what I mean? So that's why my uncle told me as well. My uncle was like, listen, don't reply to nothing until it's actually real. Like, until it's true that, oh yeah, have we actually had a contract sent to us, and is this a fight in the future or whatever?
Do you think because obviously you're promoted by Eddie Hearn and Arfan is promoted by Steve Goodwin, do you think what goes on behind the scenes or conversations that have taken place between promoters, does it bother you if, like, for example, if Steve had offered the fight to Eddie and Eddie said no thank you, and you hadn't heard anything about that, would that bother you? Would you like to be in the know?
Not really. It would probably bother my uncle, to be honest, because obviously I don't like. There's people there that are supposed to do their job. I'm not going to be a manager, and I'm not going to be. My uncle's in charge of that part. You know what I mean? I'm not going to be like, hey, I want to fight this guy. No, I want to fight this. I don't really care. I'm a fighter. It's my job. You know what I mean? Fight anyone if you want straight. That's what we do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's why we train day in and day out. You know, it's a full-time job for me. So that's why, you know, they deal with that. So it's not really a thing to me where, oh no, I should have fought this guy, or well, I didn't know if I was going to fight that guy. Because whoever they put me in the ring with, I'm a pit bull, man. You know what I mean?
Another question we got, someone called Abracadabra on Twitter. It's a good name, you know. How do you deal with frustration of not fighting on cards that you should be on? Now, obviously, should be on, I don't know if that means that you felt you should have been on, you know, for next gen, but yeah, how does it, is it frustrating to you? How do you deal with the frustration?
Do you know what? I've gotten to a point where I use everything emotional, like that would probably annoy me. I use everything as motivation, because like a couple more fights, like 3, 4, 5 more fights, and then I keep winning. They can't really ignore me. Do you know what I mean? Soon I'll get a title. They can't really ignore me. Like, it's not really about the shows. At least you gotta be thankful. At least I'm fighting.
Yeah.
At least I'm on Sky. You know, most people can't even get their medical done to even fight.
Yeah.
But I'm here fighting, and I'm just humbled. You know, I just gotta keep it like that. At least I'm fighting.
Yeah.
At least I'm living my dream. I'm a professional boxer. You can't start being spoiled. Oh yeah, I want to be on the big shows. Like, oh, I want to be at Wembley, fighting at Wembley, whatever. Do you know what I mean? It's one of those things where everything, you know, God has a special way. Everything will come in His time.
Yeah, your time will
come. If I wasn't fighting, if I wasn't supposed to fight at Wembley, it wasn't meant to be. Not yet. You know, maybe the next time I fight at Wembley, I'll be headlining. It's one of those things.
Yeah, true. Quick one here, just from me. Matty Askin fights Stephen Simmons for the British title on the 6th of October. Yeah. Firstly, who do you think takes that? Who do you think take that fight? And then, obviously, how far away do you think you are from that fight, Isaac?
Yeah, I think. Oh, it's a tough one. I think Askin takes it.
Okay.
I think Askin takes it. Yeah, but what am I saying? I kind of think Askin takes it, but I really want Steve Simmons to win, because if he wins, I'm gonna knock on his door and be like, yo, give me that title shot. Because I remember we sparred a couple years ago, and I completely dismantled him. You know, and that's when I had my second pro fight, and look what I done to him. Imagine now. Yeah. I know we get better, but I'm improving at such a fast rate, sparring with the best in the world. You know, so imagine now, like, as I'm maturing as well. People don't understand that. You know, I turned pro at around 19 years old. You know what I mean? I turned pro at 19 years old. I had limited amateur experience. I didn't really know about the game, but now I'm matured into a better fighter, a more complete fighter. And I'm getting better. I'm maturing. I'm more patient in the ring. I'm not rushing.
And I think you're obviously you're hitting harder as well. You're doing your strength and conditioning work. You're taking guys out there earlier than you were previously.
Yeah, and it's obviously to do. And when I was with her, I didn't know nothing about strength and conditioning. I just thought everything was just boxing and skipping and running and whatever. But I never knew that you got to get with the times. Things are different now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
Things change, man. You got to stay on top of that shit. And I can see the work you're doing, and you're like Craig said. Not only are you punching hard, I think you look. When things get tight, you fought Ryan Crawford, who had a massive weight advantage over you. And you didn't look phased.
He couldn't push me around. He couldn't.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean. That's all that strength and conditioning improvement. You can see it. And young man, all that work is going to pay off, and your time will come, no doubt.
Definitely, bro. Definitely.
We've got one more question.
Last one.
Last question is from 4-0. 80 Burden is a Steve Goodwin light heavyweight. Shout out to 80. He wants to know what drives your desire to win before each fight.
It's all in the training, to be honest. It's all in the training. You wake up, boxers, we're different. Normal people wake up, brush your teeth, eat, we wake up, we go running. It's to the point where it's not even a thing of motivation. It's a thing where it's drilled into me so much that you just do it. You drill it, and when you get into the ring, it's kind of like you're in the zone. You're in the zone. It's work. Do you know what I mean? It's work. You've done what you have to do, and I think it's either you've got it inside you or you don't. It's something that's really instilled inside you. That's why with me, it's not really where I want to win. It's just that I don't want to lose at all. Everything that's happening in my life is because of what I do in that ring. You know what I mean? So I'm just thinking, that's why I'm able to dig deep so bad, because I don't want to be one of those guys that could have been. I don't want to go home and tell my little brothers that their big brother that they look up to so much lost. I don't want to be like that. You know what I mean? So it's funny because I never look like the type of person that will dig deep and win and be a warrior in the ring. I don't look like that type of guy because I'm so humble. I'm down to earth. But that's the people that you should be afraid of the most. The guys that don't look like it.
Yeah. No, for sure. Final one from me. When are me, you, and Pesta running from Brixton to Streatham Common? When is that happening? Let's go.
I never knew about this.
Let's go for a run.
You guys can't run a bath, man.
I'm ready, bro.
You can't run a bath. What are you talking about?
Dude, I can't run for shit, man.
Oh dear. Well,
listen, anytime, man. We can do that, man.
Mate, Isaac, pleasure having you on, mate. And obviously, you're the start of Craig's writing. Inspired him to do some writing, and he's.
Thank you so much, Craig, man.
He's since interviewed some of the best in the world, like literally. So you got a lot to be, we got a lot to be grateful to you for. Me personally, after your fight with Waddy, which is a year ago now.
Yeah, September.
Yeah.
Shit,
September,
man.
was it?
And obviously after that, you and I started speaking. I was extremely impressed with you as a fighter, and I've become to know you as a person. I think you're an even better person.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, bro.
No, we got a lot of love for you, man. You're a good person, and listen, not everyone gives back to the community the way you do, and you got a lot of time for everyone, and I can't do nothing but respect that, Isaac, mate.
Thank you, mate.
Thanks for your time, my man. I'll speak to you soon, mate. Thank you.
Alright, thank you, bro. Take care.
Take care, bro. Substitution. Another cruiser. You're probably a heavy, ain't you, Kev?
Yeah, definitely heavy, mate. Mind you, I'm on a diet on Monday. So.
Yeah, me too. We're always on a diet Monday.
Yeah.
You boys moving down in weight? Because I'm moving up in weight, so...
Yeah, we're going to miss each other, mate, on the way up and down. Kev, you've come in for Mr. Isaac Chamberlain. Great chat with him. I love Isaac, man. He's a lovely boy.
He's a really good guy.
He's a top man. Kev, you start us off because you're the new face in this portion now, so you've got to be impressive. We're all bored of talking, so sum up next gen from your point of view, Kev.
Yeah, really excited actually. I was excited to watch it, and it didn't let me down really. They all looked pretty good, didn't they? I think besides Jake Ball, I think he had a tough fight to be fair, but the other guys looked pretty awesome. I thought standouts for me was Joe Cordina. He looked phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
better than I've ever seen him, and I didn't think that was possible because I thought he looked really, really good previously. Ted Cheeseman, again, always gets the job done, doesn't he? He looks a really good prospect. I want him to step up a bit now, and let's see what he's really got. Lawrence Okolie was a bit disappointing, I thought, but the guy was very,
not for
very
Isaac.
awkward. Yeah, Isaac. Well, I watched Isaac after, actually. I don't know if you guys saw the interview of him, and he's like, I'll have him now. He was very confident. He's like, if he's going to do that against me, I'll have him out of there. So I thought, fair play to you. You know, he's got big balls, isn't he, by the sounds of it. But actually, yeah, you know, done what we thought he was going to do. And Conor Benn, you know, I'm a big Conor Benn fan. I've said it a few times. You guys aren't that impressed, but no, I like Conor Benn.
Casual.
We know you love Conor Benn. Fuck's sake, he's rubbish. He's rubbish, mate.
Well, we'll see, mate. We'll see.
My point was Conor Benn coming forward. I think he's shown improvements in his shot selection. I think he looks a little bit better coming forward aggressively. But for me, even when you watch the finish again, me and Sam watched it about an hour ago or 2 hours ago. Even when he's coming forward, you know, he's got no defence. His defence is nowhere to be seen. He's throwing wild shots, and as soon as you're in against a guy who's a decent level, even a decent domestic level, you're going to get cracked on the chin, man. I think defensively, I know everyone talks about the improvements in his game. For me, the improvements have been offensively and regarding shot selection. Defensively, I don't think I've seen an improvement. I don't know if you disagree.
I know you don't want to compare him to his father, and we don't want to do that. But I think in this case we have to. His dad had no defence either.
Yeah.
His dad was happy to take a shot, to land a shot, and I think he's of the same mould. But whether or not he's got a similar chin to his dad is another thing. So yeah, it's one to watch. I think he's going to do really, really well. I think he'll be European and potentially world
Jesus
champion.
Christ.
What's that?
Fuck you. No, I don't know. He is very, very young. He's very raw. But I don't. It's too early. No, I can't sit here and say no. I don't think he will be, because I think probably fighters that are at 20 years old have been worse than him and won a world title is probably fair to say. But I just don't. I don't know. There's something missing for me.
I think the next 2 years, are prime for him to see how he actually moves on. I agree with what Craig said about his defence. It's non-existent. And when he's got a guy there who can take a shot and throw a shot, I think that's the big test for him, isn't it? So, but yeah, I think I do rate him highly. I think, you know, as I say, the standout for me was Joe Cordina. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Reminds me of a bit of Lee Selby, but seems to have the power that Selby maybe lacks. But no, really good, really good. I enjoyed the show from top to bottom.
He's very, very quick, isn't he, Joe Cordina? That's the big thing. He's so fast.
Yeah, and his footwork is amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
The way he covers the ring and blocks people off is just phenomenal for a young guy. Yeah, brilliant, excellent.
So overall, you would give the Next Gen show pass marks then?
Oh yeah, 100%. 100%. I thought the opposition was half decent. You know, usually you get, you know, guys that have lost 106, 1-3. But I thought the opposition. The good thing was the opposition came to fight. I found, and they came to throw some shots, which usually don't happen on these Next Gen shows.
You know what? It was a good Next Gen show, I think. You know what annoys me? Eddie's handling of a couple of fighters. I've had issue with his handling of Isaac Chamberlain and Craig Richards in the past, because they've been in tough fights and won a title. They both won the Southern Area title after really tough fights. Now, this Friday, Ted Cheeseman, who is the English champion, he didn't fight a level up from the English title. He won the title in was it July, wasn't it?
July 1st.
Yeah.
Looked good. I thought it looked extremely good, and you'd expect a level of a position to improve,
Or the same.
or
Defend it, you know.
defend it. But he went and fought a guy who was, I don't know anything about the geezer, but he didn't even make the Sky portion. You know what I mean? It just baffles me. It fucking baffles me, some of the decisions Eddie makes. Ted Cheeseman, I think, is class. I think he's going to be... I think he'll be a big star. You know, boxing-wise, not so much...
That's the thing, I don't know if he'll be a star.
Yeah, no, maybe not a star.
I think he's got the quality to be a world champion. He's got the ability to be a world champion. And I've heard people compare him to a kind of lesser version of Golovkin, the way he marches guys down, the way he closes the distance. But he's just commercially not viable. He looks like the guy out the Goonies.
Don't hold back, mate.
Listen,
come
on.
I thought a fella ginger. I thought you'd be all over that.
No, mate, no. Listen, he's not...
I was going to get him on the podcast in a few weeks. I can't now. Is that the cunt that told me I look like the geezer at the Goonies?
He's not a good-looking boy. He's not outspoken. He's not... he hasn't displayed any sort of personality for me. He's a tremendous fighter, man. He's a tremendous fighter. But I just don't know if he's going to be a star, is my point.
Yeah,
I agree with the personality side of it. He does need to start, I don't know, either calling out people or putting himself out there, definitely. Because at the moment he should be out there, but he's not. As I say, he's not even making the televised for the next gen shows. Do you know what I mean?
That was crazy to me. That was absolutely crazy to me that he didn't. So yeah, weird the way they handled that and the level of opposition for Ted, but I think he'll go a long way. I think he's a very good fighter. Cordina, I think he's superb, man. The Welsh wizard, isn't he?
Yep.
He's amazing. He's fucking amazing. Buatsi, he's going to have these learning fights on the way up. Tough guy. Took him 5 rounds, but never looked in any danger, really, did he?
The thing about British boxing now is we're in a kind of transitional period, aren't we, where the world champions or the guys that are established, they're kind of coming to the end of their career, and then the guys that are coming through are a little bit too early to be headlining shows on their own. So we have this crop of Olympians or this crop of former amateurs who are fantastic, but they're just not quite there yet, So there's probably going to be...
They're a couple of years off, aren't they?
Yeah. So we're going to have this maybe like a year or 18 months where we're trying to string people along, and that's fair enough because we know these guys will be elite level at one point, but it just leaves us chasing big fights a little bit domestically.
Guys, what's your opinion of Jake Bull?
He got one of the worst knockouts I've ever seen in person last November.
Yep.
It was brutal, wasn't it? JJ McDonough smashed him over the rope. He came back in, he smashed him over the plate. It was a bad knockout.
Really, really bad.
So I don't personally have a problem with him having a couple of fights to get a bit more confidence back in his chin, his ability. I don't think he's going to be a world beater.
No.
But it was a tough fight, and he came through it. He won on points. Arguably, fight should have been stopped in the second round when he landed some fucking brutal bodywork on Sheriff. So, yeah, he's going to be a good fighter in the division domestically.
I could see him getting beaten. Narrowly for a European title. I think that would be his level. I don't see him fighting for a world title. And when you look at the light heavyweight scene just now, the landscape of the light heavyweights, who's the champions? Andre Ward and Adonis Stevenson. Who's coming through on a domestic level? Anthony Yard. I think Hosea Burton beats him, to be honest. There's a lot of guys. Buatsi. Would Buatsi beat him? I don't know, man. When Boatsi's conditioned to fighting 10 rounds or 12 rounds, you'd have to fancy him against Ball. He just gets caught. His chin...
Yeah, you're talking about defence earlier with Conor Ben.
Yeah.
Jake Ball has enough... he comes out with his hands down. When he gets hit, though, and let's have it right. Joe Sheriff, he's not a big hitter.
No.
I think he's knocked out 2. But he had him stunned a few times.
The thing is, when you have a chin as large as Jake Ball's chin, you need to tuck that fucking thing in, man. Tuck it in.
There's another one off the podcast.
Fuck's sake. I'm never going to get another guest again, am I?
If I'm lying, tell me I'm lying.
He does come forward with his chin out, but yeah, I'm very, very dubious about him. I want him to be good, but yeah, very, very dubious. I just think if he comes up against someone who can actually hit, and JJ, let's have it right, like JJ McDonough is not a top fighter.
He's a super middleweight.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He's not, you know, he's not. You would not have put him in there to beat him, and the way he done it just shows how vulnerable he can be. Definitely.
And the McDonough, I think the McDonough camp are dying to have that fight again. They're like, "Yep, give us a rematch. We'll sign it. I'll say right now, don't sign it, man. Don't do it.
Well, you'd want it signed as well for a few quid, wouldn't you?
No, I'm saying like Jake Ball wise, I'm saying do not sign it again because
not after that performance. No way. He needs 2 or 3 more.
Yeah,
I don't have a problem with that though. Like I said, he's got to come. Not everyone is going to be rushed at the same level. Like, what is he now? What's his record? 8-1, 9-1, maybe.
9-1, yeah.
9-1, right? Anthony Yard is 12-0.
yeah.
So they're 2 fights, difference, but they're a million miles apart, aren't they?
I think Ball's fought tougher guys.
It's an argument for that. There's definitely an argument for that. JJ McDonough,
Unbeaten.
yeah, there's a big argument for that.
Sheriff, unbeaten.
In one word, who wins in a fight today out of Ball and Yard?
I can't believe you're asking that.
That's what I'm saying. So not everyone's going to be pushed at the same rate. Not everyone's going to develop at the same rate. Some guys may develop. How old was Anthony Collar when he won his world title? How many fights had he had before that where he failed at European level? Do you know what I mean? It can happen, man.
Yeah.
So
that's true.
everyone's going to be at a different level. That's my point.
You've got to have a bit about you, though.
Yeah.
That's the thing. You've got to have something. To be a world champion, you've got to have one thing that you're fantastic at.
I disagree.
A big knockout punch, or amazing footwork, or hand speed.
What is Ricky Burns, the freeweight world champion, absolutely fantastic at, apart from work rate and being Scottish?
How fucking dare you?
He's going to chin me.
Yeah, but mate, he's also got an amazing chin as well.
Yeah.
He's got a good chin.
His
got
fitness,
great work rate.
His fitness is
that
incredible.
That can win you a world title. Look at Cleverly as an example.
Yeah.
You know, great work rate and a good chin can win you a world title. But that's 2 good things, very good things that he's good at. Jake Paul, I worry about his chin. I worry about his defence. I worry about his power. He looked like he had great body shots, but didn't finish the guy when he should have.
I thought he did finish him. The ref looked like he waved it off and then gave him another 10 seconds. That was weird, but
see,
mate,
for me,
points.
the biggest thing for me is, and I've said this about Amir Khan, and I've said it about AJ Carter, and I've said it about a couple of other people. When you become more famous for how brutally you've been knocked out than you do for anything you've done positively, I don't know where you go. I don't know where you go from there. So if Amir Khan comes back and fights now, my question would be, when you've been brutally knocked out 3 times and no one really remembers who you won your title against, where do you go? I don't know. I struggle with that.
Amir Khan is amazing. He called somebody unprofessional today. This is the guy that cussed his missus on Twitter, said she was banging Anthony Joshua, and got his cock out on Skype. Talk to me about unprofessional, you prick.
God, man. Get it out on Viber where you can delete it. Jesus Christ.
I don't know what that is.
Or don't get out at all, is what I meant.
Ah, dear. Amir Khan. Do you reckon he'll fight again?
I don't care.
Yeah, I'm the exact same. I really don't care.
I do not care.
Unless it's against Kell Brook, that's the only fight that I would
couldn't care less
have
about
any
that.
sort of interest in at all.
But he's another one where defensively, we all identified defensively that was his flaw. He was getting knocked unconscious every time he fought, a different style of fighter. He went to Virgil Hunter, who is renowned to be a tremendous defensive fighter. My question would be, is Virgil Hunter a tremendous defensive coach, or is Andre Ward just outrageously talented and he makes Virgil... Because what's Virgil Hunter done other than Andre Ward? I
agree.
Like, when you look at his stable, I had a conversation with a guy who used to be a Scottish amateur champion, Derek Gregg, nice guy. He said, he's like, no, Virgil's had a lot of good fighters. And I said, look through the stable. And there was nobody there that he had taken and made better. He had Andre Ward from the early amateur days, and he is outrageously good, man. But he hasn't changed Amir Khan's style. He's done nothing for him, so...
Yeah, so
I think potentially, the problem with Amir Khan is he's got one way, and that's it, one way to fight. I think taking someone at the end of their career or the pinnacle of their career, it's hard to change them. You know, you look at Mayweather Senior when he went with Hatton, it was absolutely awful, wasn't it? So I think if you get them early enough, you can change them. I think when they get too big for their own boots and think they know better, I think you're just struggling. You're up against it. Don't care how much of a good trainer you are. You know, you're going to struggle.
Yeah. True.
Yep. Let's. I don't know if you know about this, Kev. You know they're announcing the Hayemaker Ringstar this Wednesday. They're officially announcing.
We talk about him again.
Well, I wasn't actually talking about him. I was going to talk about his stable. No, let's talk about him. No, let's not. Let's talk about his stable and the promotional side, and the card and the fights we're expecting to be announced this Wednesday. Joe Joyce will be the headliner, and we are led to believe Ian Lewison will be his debut opponent.
He obviously believes in him.
10-round fight is what I'm hearing.
That's a tough one for your first one. I know he's got great amateur pedigree, but that's going to be that's a decent. He's throwing all his cards out straight away, isn't he, David A? Jesus, that's a great fight, isn't it?
Yeah,
fight. But it also depends what Ian Lewison turns up. Jesus, the guy either comes in like 30 stone, or he doesn't turn up at all. That's it. With 30 stone where you can't move the geezer, or literally he's just doesn't bother turning up, misses his fight or whatever.
I think the biggest thing is if they have that fight. Kev, I'm exactly the same as you, mate. It depends which Lewison turns up. But I think if they have that fight, you're fighting someone who knows their way around the ring. You know, Lewison's fought in China. He's fought in different countries in Europe.
I'm pretty sure the ring was the same shape. I don't think it really matters what country it was in.
You try to tell me they got the same shape ring? It's a square? Oh my god. But what I'm saying to you is he's fought in different conditions. He's not afraid to go in there and mix it up with guys who are favoured to beat him. He's a professional, and you know, even though he might not be in the best shape, even against Dillian White he went 10-11 rounds before he got pulled out. So it's a dangerous fight, but Sam reckons Big Joe does him.
I reckon
Again, I'll make that decision on the night when I see him walk into the ring and take off his robe.
Well, you're never doing a prediction video.
Kev, give us your prediction. I'll decide on the night.
Listen, the thing is, Joe Joyce, you don't know how good he is, do you? That's the thing.
I have a feeling with Ismail Salas, mate, is going to have him in fucking... he's going to have these sexy feet, you know what I mean? For a big man, let's use a football phrase. Great feet for a big man. I think he has. I think he's got great feet, and I think he's going to adapt to the pro game really, really well. And I think he'll beat Lewison. You know, it does. Kev's right. It says a lot that they're asking for these guys in their debut. They asked for Dave Allen.
Where do you go from Lewison though? Where do you go from there?
Well, it depends. What's he looking to do? Win the British title in 12 months? I had the discussion with you earlier, and I asked the question. British title is being fought for. The British heavyweight title is being fought for by Gary Cornish and Sam Sexton. Now, I swear to God, I don't think any of them deserve it, and I don't think Joe Joyce would have a problem with either guy. And the guy hasn't stepped foot in a pro ring. That's where you go from there.
But you have to justify that, right? You have to back that up. So you have guys like Nathan Gorman, guys like Nick Webb, guys who feel as though they've earned a shot. You cannot, or you should not be, I mean, it's boxing, fuck it, you never know, but you shouldn't be allowed to just jump the queue like that.
What if he fights one and knocks him out? We know Gorman and Webb are fighting. Is that still happening?
Yeah, I think so.
Because I think Gorman's on the Newcastle Frank Warren card in the Williams and Smith rematch that is bizarrely...
Oh, that's when it's fine.
Is that fight on that, Webb and Gorman?
So, yeah, that's going to be a decent fight, that.
I think Gorman handles him handily. I don't see a problem.
Gorman's a good boxer.
Very good.
Yeah, he's decent.
I know what you're saying. Who are the top 5 British boxers, British heavyweights who are at that level? Obviously, excluding... You know, Dillian White, who is now let go of the title. Chisoro's never going to fight for British again, I'd imagine. Gorman, Dave Allen's knocking about. Dominic Akinladi's
Did you say that they offered it to Dave Allen?
Yeah, they offered Dave Allen as his debut fight.
So why didn't he take it?
He wants that rematch, doesn't he? He wants that Lenroy Thomas Commonwealth rematch, which I believe could happen this year, the back end of this year.
I thought he'd have wanted that. You know, Dave Allen, that's a perfect fight for him to smash him straight back up again, I suppose. He's a big name. I know he hasn't done anything. Yeah. The problem is, if I'm looking at it from both sides, the problem is if he lost that fight, he's finished, isn't he?
And he's been sparring with Joe Joyce before, so I think he knows. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can see a path. I can in my head I can see how the British title plays out at heavyweight for the next 2 years. You got Cornish and Sexton fighting, and then you've got Daniel Dubois and Joe Joyce on the come up. I don't think they'll have a fight for the British. What I'm saying is, I believe Joe Joyce fights for the British title within 12 months of turning pro, and then probably moves on. And Daniel Dubois will be ready until maybe 18 months, 2 years to fight for the British.
Do you think 12 months?
I think
really?
I think Dubois could get there before Joyce, man. He's a savage.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same, definitely.
No, don't be stupid. He's fighting for the Southern area, and then he's going to fight for the WBO European. It's what they do. Come on. Frank Warren's guys, it's got to be a WBO European in the pipeline.
Hey, Kev, what'd you make of this? I was on my way to Sam's today, and I was getting the tube, and there was a big poster for BT Sports, right?
Right.
And in the bottom corner was all the people that they work with, right? So there was the Premier League, Champions League, UFC, and what do you think out of the next two was the next logo on there? Box Nation or the WBO?
Don't tell me WBO.
WBO. No sign of Box Nation, nothing else. The WBO logo is on the fucking BT poster. So when people start talking about why is Anthony Yard ranked number 8 for the WBO, probably because he's fighting on BT Sports and they fucking sponsor them.
Do you reckon they own it? But it's got to be something, isn't there? Like,
why is
Do you reckon Frank Warren is like one of their silent partners of WBO?
He must be.
He must be.
He must be.
It's hilarious, isn't it?
Warren
Or is he about to release that he's changing it from Box Nation to WBO?
Billy Joe Saunders, WBO. Terry Flanagan, WBO. Anthony Yard, WBO European. Like, it's always WBO, man. Always WBO.
Yeah, it's just a bit...
Zolani Tete, WBO.
WBA.
Tete?
Tete's WBA, isn't he? Google it.
Google it, son.
Google it, son. Tete, no, he can't be WBA. WBA is the geezer that...
He's WBO, mate.
He's got to be WBO, yeah.
Kev, what do you make of the Hayemaker Ringstar camp, generally speaking? The guys they've got in there, do you know much about them? What's the thoughts on it?
Yeah, he's gone quite big, isn't he? Early on, which is good. You know, I don't know. I just struggle with David A. I know Sam.
Watch your mouth. You watch your fucking mouth.
Has an absolute man crush with him, but I don't know. I just think he dips his toe into a lot of things, but never completes it.
Let's be honest. If he promotes these guys half as good as he's promoted himself for his career, they're gonna do all right. Because say what you want about him, I say he's the greatest boxer that ever lived, but other people disagree. Say what you want about. I'm talking, don't laugh, that was not a joke.
The best ever, yeah? TBE, yeah?
TBE, David Hay. No, he marketed himself and promoted himself extremely well. That can't be denied.
You have to admit, he's almost in a better position now than Tony Bellew is, and Tony Bellew beat him. So,
because he's just calling out giants for no apparent reason. Ridiculous.
I think Venom Page is supposed to be on this card. Willie Hutchinson is supposed to be on this card. I would imagine Cash Ashfaq will be on this card as well. So definitely, it should be interesting to see where that stable is at.
It's like Haymaker's version of Next Gen, isn't it? I think.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting to have the two up against each other and see what comes of it. Definitely.
I don't think Joyce. I don't think Joyce is going to hang around. I really, really don't.
He's not got time.
Heavyweight, you could. Let's be honest, you could. You could have a slow build at 30 years old in the heavyweight division. I don't think he will, though. I'm going to make a bold prediction. I told you. British champion within 12 months.
Can't see it.
I don't see who stands in his way.
Well, listen, we'll see. If he dismantles Lewison, then if he dismantles him in good fashion, then I think he's definitely one to move up. But if he seems to struggle or something or anything, if he doesn't look 100% against him, I think it could be a slow burner.
I think Daniel Dubois stands in the way of everything except North Korea's hydrogen bombs. Like, Daniel Dubois is a fucking savage, man.
Yeah,
He's
I agree.
so big and
100%.
he's like 19.
Remind me to tell you something I heard afterwards.
Off air.
Yeah, about Dubois, because I can't.
Okay.
If it didn't happen, I can't say that.
Brilliant. That means he's.
No, not bad, not bad. Only good shit about Daniel Dubois. Trust me.
okay.
Yeah, for him, it's only good shit because Dubois.
Is it not from a reliable source, Sam?
It's from a very reliable source, but we'd had a conversation about not talking. So,
Does it involve Mexican herbs?
no Mexican herbs.
Okay.
Daniel Dubois is an animal, and I think he's legitimate. I think he's the real deal. And it's how slow you build him, what route you take him. You know, he's with Box Nation, so I think we can guess what route he's going to be taken. But
The WBO?
yeah, I'd guess so. Southern area, then WBO.
He's on a fucking diet of raw horse meat every single day. He's a monster.
Imagine when he's 25 and gets his man strength.
Jesus Christ.
Jesus.
I remember when I was 19, man. Gee, I couldn't lift my eyelids. Size of that fucking guy. Yeah, he's a monster. He's a monster.
What we got?
So, what about him, Joe Joyce, then, Sam?
When?
12 months.
12 months, I think it's hard, isn't it?
Nope.
No?
It's not.
Nope.
That's not saying.
Dubois punches his fucking head.
No, I think you're not being unfair to Joe Joyce.
I think you can...
What are you judging Daniel Dubois for? Because let's not be hypocritical. I didn't jump on the Okolie hype train when he was bombing people out of there. So why are we doing it when Dubois is? I'm not saying he's not legitimate. But tell me why.
I think Dubois, when you watch Dubois fight, he fights more as a complete professional than Okolie does. I think there's a lot of holes in Okolie's game. I think you only have to look at the Blaise Mondudo fight. He fought Dubois. Dubois took him out in the second round, comfy.
He also has a few stone on Okolie.
Yeah, no, but it doesn't. He fought the same opponent, so it's, you know, if you're going to stop someone, you're going to stop them. And Okolie can bang. No one's debating he can hit. I just think Okolie's just a bit reckless, man. But I think Joe Joyce might suffer from being stuck in the amateurs too long.
It's possible. It's very possible.
You know, when you're doing that point fighting and you're not knocking people out and you're doing those 3 rounds, and you go from doing 3 rounds every single fight to now doing 10 rounds in your first professional fight. You know, I don't care who's in your corner, whether it's Salas, whether it's Angelo Dundee. You have to acclimatise to that. It's a totally different way of doing things.
I'm surprised he's going straight in with 10. That's shocked me. That really has.
I don't think... I wondered if that was allowed. Do you know what I mean? But then Conor McGregor had a 12, didn't he?
Yeah.
So, just... it's crazy, but it's good. Why hang about if you believe you're better than that level?
Good for him.
Good for him. And I'm firmly behind anyone that has that Hayemaker banner above their head. You know, I'm all in.
I'm behind Willie Hutchinson. That guy is a fucking phenomenon.
You're always behind Willie.
He is a phenomenon, man.
Willie Hutchinson. Yeah, I think he's special, isn't he? 18?
18. Won the World Amateurs when he was 17. Beat the Cuban, beat the Kazakhstani. We were watching clips earlier on, man. I've seen him in the gym, spoke to him, interviewed him. He's one of a kind, mate. He's one of a kind. Spoke to Ismail Salas about him as well. Even he says, he's not seen someone like this before. He's very, very gifted. So we'll see how far he goes. Are you watching Chocolate? Oh, on you go.
What channel? What channel's that on? What channel is he going to be fighting
You
on?
know, you know what channel it'll be on. You know, Kev.
With Muttley laugh behind the cunt.
Seriously, Sam, tell me. I want to know. What channel?
They named the station after the world cruiserweight champion, the world heavyweight champion, Dave.
Bellew.
No, Dave. It's on Dave. So what? Don't take the piss. Stop laughing.
I can't laugh, mate. The only worse channel than Dave is Spike, innit? Come on. It's not great, is it? Come on, mate. You know, if he... listen, we'll see. I think, listen, it's free, so I'll definitely watch it. So...
Kev, who do you think picks up this World Boxing Super Series television coverage?
You know what? I don't really care.
What?
It sounds terrible, innit? I know. I don't care. I'll watch it on whatever. I'd rather it be someone like Sky, but they're not going to pick up. They're not going to pick up the whole thing, are they?
No, it won't be Sky.
So they're not going to get it, are they?
It won't be Sky. It won't be Sky. It'll be maybe ITV. I was thinking BBC.
No. I was thinking ITV might pick it up as their, as a bit of free content around their pay-per-views. I wonder if they're getting back into boxing properly, not just pay-per-views. Why not throw on a fight every couple of weeks?
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense for ITV to take it, but I've got a feeling if it goes
They
ITV, they're going to want to do it pay-per-view.
They can't, though, can they?
The thing is, I mean,
I thought about this, and I thought if ITV do take it and they do it as a pay-per-view, they might do like a £59 package where you get everything.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to do it. Because I was going to say to you, like, Dorticos v Krudrashov. How many pay-per-views is that going to sell in the UK? Fuck all.
7.
And I'm 1.
I'd probably buy it. Sam, you know some of the shit I've brought, mate. Jesus, that's a step up some of it. I'll tell you. I'd probably buy it, mate. I'm a bit of a loser like that. I watch every boxing that's on whenever, and then I watch it again in the morning. So I can get my money's worth.
You're just tight, aren't you?
I'm a bit tight like that, but I don't know. I think if they done a package like that, I think they'll get more people. Something probably 40 quid, something like that, $39.99 or something. For the whole Super Series, I think that something like that makes sense.
Yeah.
The BT Sport, I don't think they want it, do they? I think the big channels don't want it. I think that's the problem. So they just want to pick what fights they can show.
The big channels have their own shows, don't
like
they?
That.
The big channels have their own shows that they have to fulfill. So it's not going to work having one of these every week as well. It just doesn't work.
Well, you don't want to sacrifice like a British fight night for Jürgen Bremer v Rob Brandt. Do you know what I mean? It's just, there's no point.
Yeah. Well, I think ITV are the only ones then, really, aren't they? Then again, Dave could get it, couldn't he, old Dave, down the road?
BBC could come back.
Maybe Channel 5 now they've lost Frampton. Cyclone jump on it.
It's not a bad shout.
Who knows? We shall see.
They're not together anymore, are they?
Nah, so I mean, Frampton left Cyclone, but yeah, Channel 5 are still going to want to fulfil some boxing, aren't they?
What's they got now?
That's what I'm saying. No, cunt. They're just going to show the fucking World Super Series. Josh Taylor. They got Josh.
Maybe that's the only option they've got. So
they've got Josh Taylor, Kev. So.
Oh, they have got Josh Taylor, but how long is he going to stay there for if he's the only person? Come on.
True. Very true.
That's it. I'm out of beers.
Yeah.
I'm out of beers. You think we're done? It's getting dark. It's got really dark.
Super dark.
Super dark. We're out of beers. Yeah, I think that's it.
Kev, one word. Who wins the cruiserweight and who wins the super middleweight World Boxing Super Series?
One word.
Super middle. Definitely George Groves.
Okay.
Cruiser. I'm not sure about the cruiser. Who do you reckon?
Usyk. It's got to be Usyk, isn't it?
Yeah, he's a standout, isn't he?
We asked Isaac Chamberlain. We said to Isaac, "Who do you think makes the final?" And before we could even finish the sentence, he went, "Usyk beats them all, no problem." Like quick.
I think Usyk wins it. The cruiserweight one, I'm not that interested in, if I'm honest, because I think he'll just blow him away. I think he'll win it. But yeah, I think George Groves for me. I'm a massive George Groves fan. I'll be gutted if you don't win it. Gutted. What about you guys?
I would say super middleweight Eric Skoglund. I think super middleweight you'd have to go Groves or Eubank Jr. Just can't decide. And then cruiserweight you would imagine Usyk beats everyone. I'm the opposite to you, mate. I'm more buzzing about the cruiserweight one.
Really?
Every title on the line. I'm buzzing about that. So yeah, I think the guys in there are less known. There's less British people involved, obviously. But
that's what I mean. I like the Brit. I like having a Brit on board. That's the thing for me.
Yeah.
And one that's going to, actually do some damage. That's why I'm not as enthusiastic about it. And the thing is, Usyk's so far ahead of everyone else. That's the thing. It should be a walk in the park for him.
Yeah.
Whereas the other one, you've got Smith, you've got Eubank, you've got Groves, you've got a couple of the foreign lads who look decent. Quite a few undefeated fighters as well. So, that really interests me. That one definitely.
Sam, who you got?
Usyk and Groves.
Usyk and Groves.
Yep.
You've went for the favourites there. That's very brave of you. Nice.
Well, we'll see what happens, won't we? Is that it?
All right. Yeah, I think we're ready to wrap it up, man. The sun is gone. The beers are gone. Isaac's gone.
Kev's still here.
I'm still here, breathing heavy.
We're going to see you next week, Kev.
We are, yeah. I'm looking forward to it.
September 9th. September 9th down at York Hall. Steve Goodwin's Heaven or Hell show, headlined by Joe McIntyre, English champion light heavyweight, fighting against Liam Conroy. You have Leon McKenzie, former striker for various teams, Norwich, etc.
Agent or what?
He's fighting for the Southern Area super middleweight title against Cello Renda. And you've got our guy, Anesu Bad News Twala, fighting his second professional fight. Have a look out for that ring wear. Have a look out for those Fight Talk shots. Anesu Twala will be on about mid-card. Listen, that's a fantastic card. Get down there. Steve Goodwin always puts on a good night. And if you're in the bar, Kev will buy you a beer.
I will not be wearing a Fight Talk t-shirt, so everyone comes to me, I tell you.
That's it. Kev, we're out.
Oh, brilliant.